Erwin Rommel, Scene 19, take 1891. Action!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the History and Mystery channel. I'm your host, Chronicler, and I want you to like and subscribe. Now that you've done that, I want to delve into the story of the Desert Fox. Erwin Rommel was a tactical genius and was known for his innovative leadership and fair treatment of his troops. For our story of today, I made 6 chapters, and those chapters are his early life, World War I, the Interbellum, the Desert Fox, Normandy, and the Rommel conspiracy and his death. So let's start with chapter 1. Erwin Rommel was born on November 15, 1891 in Heidenheim, Germany. His father was Erwin Rommel Sr. and a schoolteacher. His mother was Helena von Lutz and she took care of the household. Erwin was the second in a family of 4 children. He had 2 brothers, Karl and Gerhard, and he had 1 sister named Helena. In his diary, Erwin Rommel would write that his youth was joyful and happy. As we know, Erwin Rommel grew up to become the world-famous Desert Fox, but this wasn't something that you would have expected if you took a look at his early teens. Because that's when you start to see a total different kid. A kid that loved mathematics and engineering. A kid that would spend most of his time on fixing machinery, breaking it down and building it up again. That kid would build a fully operational glider with one of his friends. Listening to this, it all sounds a lot like a future mechanic or engineer. So what happened? Or what made him change his path? Simply said, young Erwin was smart, but failed his classes. This caused his father to advise him to join the military. And that's what an 18-year-old Erwin Rommel did in 1910. After he enlisted, he got assigned to the Württemberg Infantry Regiment number 124 in Weingarten as a Fähnrich. To complete his training, the army would send him to the cadet school of Danzig, which is located in modern-day Gdansk, Poland. Rommel graduated in 1911 and became a lieutenant in 1912. During his time at the cadet school, he would also meet his future wife, Lucia Maria Molin. One famous line that would describe Rommel's time as a platoon commander in World War I was, "Where Rommel is, that is where the front is." You might wonder why his men would say this. Well, that's because he would always storm and penetrate the enemy lines. Rommel's high-risk, high-reward tactics would bring him great victories, but also injuries. During the first month of the war, Rommel was facing a group of French soldiers who still had ammunition, unlike him. The fact that he didn't have any ammo didn't stop him from engaging his enemy. He grabbed his bayonet and stormed towards the French soldiers, who would shoot him in the leg while he was coming for them. I have to say that Erwin Rommel had some balls during his younger years. Rommel's successes on the battlefield wouldn't go unnoticed, and his show of exceptional leadership during the month of September in 1914 would earn him the Iron Cross, 2nd class, and a promotion. A year later, Rommel got transferred to the newly formed Royal Württemberg Mountain Battalion of the Alpen Corps. In 1916 became a brutal year of trench warfare, but the month November became a light spot during the war, because even though he had an illegitimate child from a former flirt, Lucia would love him and marry him. The newlywed couple couldn't enjoy much time with each other because the battlefield was calling and Erwin had to go to the Austro-Hungarian border with Romania, where he would fight in the battle for Mount Kosna. During the battle, Rommel's daring tactics would cause him to get shot in the arm, and even though both sides had their wins and losses, the Central Powers would lose in the end. But the war wasn't over yet, and on the 24th of October, Rommel would fight on the Italian front during the Battle of Caporetto. During this battle, Rommel would achieve major successes by capturing 9,000 enemy soldiers, by only suffering 6 losses and 30 injuries. But did you know that Rommel only had 150 men at his disposal during the battle, and that he would be successful again with such a small group? Because on the 9th of November, he would use his men again strategically so well that the 1st Italian Infantry Division felt like they were totally surrounded by thousands of Germans, causing the 10,000 men to surrender. For this action, Erwin Rommel received the order of Pour le Mérite, if I say that correctly. After the war ended, Erwin Rommel stayed in the army and would primarily focus on dealing with the civil unrest that plagued Germany after the war. During the war, Rommel was known for his cunning strategies and aggressive tactics. But while he was dealing with civil unrest, he chose a different strategy and always tried to avoid using violence. For example, when the German city of Lindau was taken over by communist revolutionaries, he decided to negotiate with them and managed to get the city back under control of the legitimate government without using any violence. During the Interbellum, Rommel would say that he saw his country getting torn apart by infighting, which he would blame on the empty stomachs instead of the Jews and the communists, which is something that Hitler did. And now that we're talking about Hitler, let's travel towards 1934, because that's the year Erwin Rommel would meet Adolf Hitler while he was inspecting the 3rd Jaeger Battalion, of which Rommel was a member. The two would stay in touch, and Hitler would, just like many other world leaders, become a fan of Rommel's book Infanterie grijft aan. While tensions in Europe were rising and the German war machine was getting ready for combat, Rommel would receive a position close to the Führer when Hitler made him the 2nd in command of the Führerbegleitbataillon. On the 1st of September, German troops would cross the Polish border and Rommel would accompany Hitler on the field offices. During the invasion, Rommel would use most of his time to study the tactics used by the tanks and motorized units of the Wehrmacht. After Rommel saw how effective and deadly the tank battalions were on the Polish front, he decided that he wanted to become a tank commander, which he became thanks to his relationship with Adolf Hitler, who went against his own military protocols when he promoted Erwin Rommel to the position of tank commander of the 7th Panzer Division, which he would lead towards many victories in France. Thanks to his successes and because of the failures of the Italian army in North Africa, Erwin Rommel got appointed as commander of the newly formed Afrika Corps. Erwin Rommel arrived in Libya on the 12th of February in 1941, just a couple of months before the siege of Tobruk would start. The siege took place from the 10th of April until the 27th of November and resulted in an Allied victory. But this victory was short-lived, because on the 5th of January in 1942, the Wehrmacht would give Erwin Rommel's Afrika Corps the supplies and 55 tanks it needed for a counterattack. Rommel used his new tanks and launched a successful surprise attack on the Allies on the 21st of January. During the offensive, the Allies lost 110 tanks, the city of Benghazi and the city of Tamimi on the 3rd of February. Rommel was victorious and pushed the Allies back again into defensive positions around the Tobruk area. Rommel used his military power well and pushed until the Allies had only one option left, which was surrender, and they did this on the 1st of June. After accepting their surrender, Rommel would continue to push on and capture more land. His strategies overwhelmed the Allies, causing them to fall in disarray. Rommel would use this to his advantage and attack Tobruk from the east, which was something that nobody expected. And on the 21st of June, Rommel would capture Tobruk and the 30,000 Allied soldiers that were stationed there. This defeat was one of the worst ones the Allies would suffer during the war. Rommel was successful, but eventually the Axis powers got kicked out of Africa and Rommel received his next mission. Rommel would arrive in Normandy on the 4th of November in 1943. And once he arrived there, he got surprised when he saw how horrible the defenses were. After becoming a commander on the 15th of January in 1944, Erwin Rommel finally received the power he needed to make some big changes to the defenses, which he did when he created killing fields, laid down millions of mines, thousands of tank traps, and other obstacles. Another thing that Erwin Rommel wanted to do was to make sure that he could push an Allied invasion of the beaches by stationing the tank divisions just behind the dunes, so that they could arrive on the beaches in a matter of minutes. But this was something Leo Gehr von Swettenberg disagreed with, which caused Hitler to split the tank divisions in two. This decision basically weakened both strategies. After organizing the defenses, Rommel went back to Germany and on the 5th of June to celebrate the birthday of his wife. This sounds all good until you realize that D-Day happened the next day. When the news of the invasion reached Rommel, he would rush back to Normandy, but most of the damage had already been done. The Allied powers won on the beaches and created a foothold in France. Small fact, the defenses that Rommel was placing on the Atlantic Wall were far from being finished. We can only imagine how many more lives would have been lost if they were finished. And it's hard to say if the Allied powers would have been able to capture the beaches if they were. While Erwin Rommel was driving through France, an Allied fighter plane would spot him and attack his vehicle on the 17th of July, causing him to be hospitalized and sent back to Germany. Many of you have probably seen the movie Valkyrie with Tom Cruise in it, where they tried to assassinate Adolf Hitler. But did you know that according to British secret agents, Erwin Rommel could have been one of the conspirators of the assassination plot? The secret agents learned about this possibility while they were eavesdropping on a German general named Heinrich Erbenbach and his son. The agent said that Heinrich told his son that Rommel had told him that Hitler and his close associates had to be killed, because that would be the only way out of the war for Germany. A second piece of evidence that would be unveiled to us was found by a historian named Christian Schweizer in 2018, when he stumbled across some papers that had belonged to Rudolf Hartmann and Karl Heinrich von Stülpnagel. Some of you might know them for their roles in the military resistance against Adolf Hitler. In these papers, Christian found an eyewitness report of a conversation between Rommel and Stülpnagel. During this conversation, they would have talked about the future of Germany and Adolf Hitler. It is said that during the meeting, Rommel would show decisive determination and clear approval of the Inner Circle's plan that led to Operation Valkyrie. To say that Erwin Rommel approved of assassinating Adolf Hitler is hard to say, because there are some contradictions. For example, the Inner Circle said that Erwin Rommel approved, but according to his wife, he wanted to arrest Adolf Hitler and bring him to court for his crimes. His wife would also say that Rommel was afraid that an assassination of Hitler would make him a martyr in the eyes of his followers, which could initiate a new flame of support for National Socialism. The second point that his wife would make is that Rommel feared that the assassination of Hitler could start a civil war in Austria and Germany. Either way, the plot went through but failed on the 20th of July in 1944. After interrogating multiple of the conspirators, Martin Bormann would hand over a report to Adolf Hitler, which would claim that multiple of the people that had been connected to the failed assassination attempt had confessed that Erwin Rommel was well aware of the plot and promised them that he would help them with forming a new government. Because of these revelations, Rommel's case was turned over to the Court of Military Honor. There was only one problem. Rommel was extremely popular, and if this came out, it could damage the morale of the troops on the front. To prevent this from happening, Hitler came up with a plan. to offer Rommel a chance to take his own life instead of facing him in court. To send this message to Rommel, Hitler would send two generals named Wilhelm Burgdorf and Ernst Meisel to his residence. Hitler told his men to tell Rommel that if he decides to take his own life, he would make sure that his family would not suffer, receive full pension payment, and that the government would claim that he had died as a hero. To save his family, Erwin Rommel decided to take his own life on the 14th of October in 1944 by using a cyanide pill that the generals had brought to him. Hitler would keep his word and organize a state funeral in Ulm. Besides organizing the funeral, Hitler also ordered an official day of mourning and commemoration of Rommel's death. The entire world thought that Rommel had died from a heart attack and as a German war hero. The truth behind Rommel's death became known to the Allies after the war had finished, when an intelligence officer named Charles Marshall interviewed Lucia Rommel, Erwin's widow. I want to thank you all for listening. See you in the next one. And remember, history is written in mystery.